The stars above the outskirts of the conquered planet shimmered coldly, distant and indifferent to the chaos below. The Sci-fi forces patrolled in their black, angular ships, their alien chatter harsh and buzzing, filling the air with a sense of control. To them, the planet was already lost, its people shackled and obedient, and the whispers of rebellion long buried beneath fear. They had no idea what was coming. From the darkness above, human ships appeared like falling comets, sleek and silent. They did not roar with the fire of conventional warships. They did not signal their arrival with challenge or boast. These were not ordinary soldiers. They were executioners, a breed honed for precision, for strategy, and for dismantling oppression with terrifying efficiency. The Sci-fi, arrogant in their assumption of superiority, did not even pause to examine these newcomers. They assumed Earth had sent some standard military response, a pitiful gesture that would crumble under alien might. They were wrong. On the bridge of the lead human ship, Commander Kale observed the target planet with calm, sharp eyes. His features were hard, the result of countless battles, countless decisions that weighed life and death on scales of morality and necessity. Around him, his team prepared silently. Each executioner had trained for decades, merging the sharpest human intuition with advanced AI assistance, enhancing reflexes, vision, and coordination without stripping away the essential humanity that made them unpredictable. They were the weapon the galaxy had never seen. Humans, perfected for war, but with the moral compass to never stray into cruelty. "Remember," Kale said, his voice low but steady, "we do not kill innocents. We do not destroy unless necessary. We strike at the heart, the command, the oppression itself. Let the Sci-fi fear us, but let the people see hope." Kale's second-in-command, a woman named Lyra, leaned forward slightly. Her cybernetic eye flickered with data, calculating trajectories and analyzing enemy formations. "They're moving civilians into the central city," she said. "Looks like a human shield, or they are consolidating control. Either way, we have a window before they fortify further." Quietly, efficiently, and without hesitation, Kale knew that the first strike would not just be a tactical assault, it would be a message. Humanity had arrived, and it carried neither surrender nor compromise. The executioners descended. They entered the planet's atmosphere silently, slipping between patrols and sensors. Their ships emitted almost no signature, appearing as mere blips in the alien scans. As they neared the target city, the first human operative, known simply as Jalen, deployed a reconnaissance drone. The little machine weaved through the streets, sending back images and data. In these streets, human hearts could already be felt, the tension of fear, the faint hope of rescue. "The civilians are hiding," Jalen reported. "Alien patrols are on high alert, but there is chaos. We can exploit it." The first strike involved disabling key communication towers and energy nodes that powered the alien fortifications. With each calculated strike, the Sci-fi forces scrambled, confused and terrified by a foe who seemed to anticipate every move. Panic spread faster than fire. Where humans moved, chaos followed, not indiscriminate destruction, but surgical dismantling of control. The oppressed began to notice. Kale watched the live feeds as the alien leaders struggled to respond. "Notice how they hesitate," he murmured. "They are not used to humans who think 3 steps ahead. That hesitation will save lives." Sci-fi soldiers paced corridors, confident that their technology and brutality were enough to maintain control. They did not yet realize that the executioners were inside the city, blending with shadows, using alien tech against them, and communicating through thought links that no alien could intercept. Humans were everywhere at once, yet nowhere visible. The first executioner entered the command center through the ventilation system. His steps were measured, each movement calculated for silence. He carried a device capable of temporarily disabling alien shields and security systems. Within minutes, he had infiltrated the inner chambers, placing charges at structural points that would collapse corridors without harming civilians nearby. Meanwhile, on the streets, other executioners coordinated with the local population, helping them find safe paths and rallying them subtly. Fear turned into cautious determination. The sight of humans, fearless and methodical, ignited sparks of hope. Some civilians dared to move openly, encouraging others to hide less, to resist quietly. Humanity's presence itself became a weapon, inspiring courage where there had only been despair. Back in the command center, alarms blared. The Sci-fi commander, a towering alien with ridged skin and multiple eyes, realized the invaders were not ordinary soldiers. "Humans," he hissed. "They are more than they appear. Send the reinforcements." Human teams intercepted reinforcements before they could converge. Strategic strikes cut off paths, using both the environment and alien technology against them. What the Scythery had once considered impenetrable was systematically dismantled by a combination of human ingenuity, adaptive AI, and precise execution. The commander's confidence faltered. In the streets, civilians watched the chaos from rooftops and safe corners. They could not see the executioners directly, but they felt the change. Alien patrols faltered, energy shields flickered and failed, and alien orders became disjointed. Rumors of human intervention spread rapidly. HFY was no longer just about physical might. It was about presence, strategy, and moral authority. Kale activated a signal, a subtle broadcast that penetrated alien channels. The message was simple, clear, and chilling. "We are the executioners. Tyranny ends here. You will not break the people we protect." The words, though not loud, carried through the city, both to Scythery soldiers and terrified civilians. Alien confidence began to crack, and the people's spirits rose. Inside the command center, the human operative completed his task. Charges were set, energy nodes disrupted, and vital control panels disabled. He left silently, disappearing into the ventilation system just as walls collapsed in controlled bursts, cutting off corridors and isolating alien leaders. Panic erupted. The Scythery were skilled warriors, but they were now prey in a game they could not comprehend. Kale's team advanced, moving like shadows among the rubble and chaos. Every step was planned, every decision weighed. They did not kill indiscriminately, they incapacitated, outmaneuvered, and outthought. Their goal was justice, liberation, and demonstration. Humans would protect the innocent and punish the oppressors. By the time the first light of the alien day touched the city, the command center was in ruins, alien leaders captured or neutralized, and the people cautiously emerging from hiding. They saw humans standing among them, silent, watchful, and unwavering. A sense of awe spread through the streets. The executioners did not boast or shout. Their mere presence spoke volumes. Kale surveyed the city from a rooftop, watching as humans guided civilians to safety, patched the broken infrastructure, and provided aid. The Scythery soldiers that remained were disorganized, fearful, and retreating. Hope, fragile and bright, had returned to the people. Earth had not sent soldiers, it had sent executioners, and their arrival had changed everything. Lyra approached Kale, her cybernetic eye scanning the horizon. "The first phase is complete. No civilian casualties, minimal alien losses, and yet," she hesitated, "they will not forget us. The Scythery will respond. They will learn that humans are not weak. That fear will not break us. That courage, intelligence, and morality, our very humanity, is our greatest weapon. Today we saved a city. Tomorrow the galaxy may see that tyranny has met its reckoning." Hope was contagious, a spark igniting hearts that had long been dormant. Kale turned to his team, his executioners. "Rest if you can. Soon the real fight begins, but remember this, we are human, we endure, we adapt, and we do not surrender." Yet even among them, one truth had begun to resonate across space. Humanity was awake, and it was not a force to be ignored. The executioners stood among the people, silent guardians in a city reborn. Their work was just beginning, and the Scythery would soon discover that Earth did not send soldiers. It sent judgment. The morning light spilled over the city, revealing scars from the previous night's battle. Broken walls, smoldering vehicles, and cracked streets marked the path of the human executioners, but there was also something new, a pulse of life returning, quiet but persistent. Civilians moved among the ruins, cautious but hopeful, reclaiming the streets that had been dominated by alien fear. Commander Kale surveyed the city from a high rooftop. His gaze swept across the recovering citizens, the scattered alien forces, and the quiet streets now alive with human presence. "They underestimated us," he said softly, almost to himself. "And they will again, but we will be ready." Reports indicate several Scythery warships have left orbit and are en route. They will arrive within hours. They think this is a minor uprising. They are wrong. Every move they make, we counter before they know it. Children peeked from behind ruins, their eyes wide, fascinated by these strange, fearless figures who seemed part human, part machine, but entirely unwavering in purpose. Jalen, a young but highly skilled operative, moved through the city with careful precision. His task was simple in theory but vital in practice. Locate any remaining Scythery forces and neutralize their ability to regroup. Using small drones, he scouted alleyways and rooftops, identifying patrol patterns and weak points in alien defenses. The Sci-Fi had underestimated human adaptability, and this mistake would cost them dearly. In the skies above, the incoming warships approached. Sleek and dark, they cut through the atmosphere with ease, their weapons primed. Inside the command bridge of the first ship, a Sci-Fi officer glared at the planetary feed. The humans, they are not just fighting, they are calculating, anticipating. How is this possible? Kale activated a tactical map on the rooftop, holographic images flickering in the air. We cannot face them head-on. Their ships are fast, powerful, and heavily armed, but they are predictable. We will use the city as our advantage, force them to move where we control the environment. We can coordinate evacuation paths, distractions, and ambush points. With their cooperation, we can divide the enemy, reduce casualties, and maintain the element of surprise. Let them see that freedom is worth fighting for. Humans moved silently with purpose, while the city itself became a weapon against the oppressors. The first alien ship entered the atmosphere. Its massive frame cast a shadow over the city, and its weapons systems powered up with a hum that made the ground vibrate. The Sci-Fi thought sheer size and firepower would intimidate the humans. They were wrong. Kale and his team had anticipated this. Using hijacked alien drones and improvised signal jammers, they disrupted the ship's targeting systems before it could fire effectively. Explosions erupted in the distance, but these were controlled, strategically placed to distract and disorient, not destroy the city or its people. From a hidden vantage point, Kale watched the alien officers struggle to regain control. "Notice their panic," he said quietly. "They are trained to dominate, to enforce. They are not trained for unpredictability for a population that refuses to obey. This is where humanity excels." With every success, civilians grew bolder, helping in small ways, guiding executioners through secret passages, carrying supplies, or alerting them to alien movements. Jalen led a team into the city's industrial sector, a maze of abandoned factories and storage facilities. They discovered a hidden alien garrison, its soldiers confident in their position. Jalen signaled the others, and with quiet precision, they neutralized the garrison without alerting the surrounding forces. The operation was over in minutes, leaving the area secure for civilians to reclaim. The Sci-Fi commander aboard the orbiting warship could see his forces faltering. "These humans, they are everywhere at once. How is this possible?" His multiple eyes darted over tactical displays, trying to identify patterns, but the humans had none, or rather their pattern was unpredictable. They adapted faster than any algorithm the aliens could devise. On the streets, Kale coordinated with Lyra and Jalen. They had one goal: delay and confuse the reinforcements until civilians could evacuate safely and the alien forces were disoriented. They moved like shadows, striking, disappearing, and striking again. Every step was calculated to maximize impact while minimizing harm to innocents. The civilians began to understand the human presence not as a threat, but as a promise. Mothers whispered to children, telling them to watch and learn. Workers helped wherever they could, moving rubble, creating improvised defenses, and relaying information. The city itself seemed to awaken, a living participant in the battle for its own freedom. Kale activated a secondary plan. Using modified drones, they projected holographic images of humans across multiple locations simultaneously. The Sci-Fi forces, seeing humans appear where none should be, began to hesitate. Fear took root, not from brute force, but from intelligence, adaptability, and coordination. "Remember," Kale said to his team over comms, "our goal is not to destroy them yet. It is to show them that humans cannot be controlled, cannot be broken, and cannot be underestimated." Each strike was precise, surgical, and terrifying to the aliens. In the industrial sector, Jalen paused to watch a small group of civilians emerge from hiding, their eyes wide with amazement. "Do you see that?" he said into his comms. "They are no longer afraid. They are beginning to believe they can fight back. That is our most powerful weapon. Fear can enslave, but hope can liberate. Keep moving, keep guiding them." They dismantled alien control points, freed civilians trapped in fortified areas, and neutralized enemy squads with minimal conflict. Each operation demonstrated the key HFY principle. Humans succeed not because they are the strongest, but because they are clever, adaptable, and courageous. As the day wore on, the Sci-Fi realized their mistake. They had assumed humans were predictable, limited in strategy, and vulnerable to fear. They had assumed the people of Earth would send soldiers. Instead, they faced executioners, humans who embodied the worst nightmare of tyranny. By late afternoon, the city was largely secure. Alien forces had been scattered, key positions neutralized, and civilians protected. The people stepped from hiding, helping each other rebuild, tend to the wounded, and reclaim the city they had once thought lost. Kale stood on a high rooftop once more, surveying the city below. He saw children playing cautiously among the rubble, families embracing and workers clearing debris. Hope was alive. Humans had not only defended the city, they had inspired it. Phase 2 complete, Lyra said beside him. Civilians are safe, alien reinforcements delayed, and morale is rising. We have given them more than protection, we have given them courage. Humanity cannot be underestimated, cannot be broken, and cannot be controlled. Today we fight to protect. Tomorrow we prepare to liberate more. Humanity had arrived not as conquerors, but as liberators, and the galaxy would soon know that the Earth did not send soldiers, it sent executioners. As evening fell, the stars above the city sparkled once more. The humans stood ready, not with arrogance, but with resolve. The Sci-fi forces were powerful, but they had underestimated a species capable of hope, intelligence, and courage beyond measure. Kale turned to his team, his expression firm but calm. "Rest if you can," he said. "We have won this day, but the war is only beginning. The people are awake, and the galaxy will see the reckoning that comes from Earth." And somewhere across the stars, the Sci-fi began to realize that underestimating humanity would cost them more than they had ever imagined. The stars above the city were calm, indifferent, as if they watched centuries of conflict without judgment. But the people below no longer moved only in fear. They had seen the humans, the executioners who had appeared from the darkness and struck at tyranny with precision and resolve. Even in the rubble of destroyed streets and buildings, a spark of hope now burned. Commander Kale studied the city from a rooftop, scanning the horizon with his enhanced vision. The alien reinforcements had not yet landed, but their approach could be felt. Sensors picked up streaks of movement, ships leaving orbit, engines humming, weapons systems active. The Sci-fi were not defeated. They were angry, calculating, and ready to reclaim control. Kale's jaw tightened. "They think fear will work," he said softly. "They are learning slowly that it does not." "They are targeting the industrial sector next," she said. "They assume we will defend civilians there. They do not realize it is exactly where we want them." Guided by executioners, they began repairing barricades, clearing rubble for safe pathways, and learning small ways to contribute. Fear was still present, but it was no longer paralyzing. They had seen humans face the Sci-fi without hesitation, and in that example they found courage. The first wave of Sci-fi reinforcements entered the atmosphere. Their warships were sleek, dark, and heavily armed, slicing through the clouds like predators descending on a wounded prey. The humans had anticipated the attack. They had prepared the city as a maze, a puzzle for the aliens to solve, where every wrong turn could cost them coordination and advantage. Kale's team spread across the rooftops and streets. Jalen led a squad through the industrial district, placing small, non-lethal but disabling devices on key alien equipment. Power relays hummed, shields flickered, and communication nodes malfunctioned. The Sci-fi were still powerful, but they were losing control, piece by piece. The civilians, guided by the executioners, helped in subtle but vital ways. Some moved supplies for the human teams. Others acted as lookouts, warning of approaching patrols. Even children participated, carrying messages or helping open hidden doors. Humanity's greatest weapon was not just technology or training, it was cooperation, intelligence, and the unyielding will to protect life. Inside the first alien warship, panic began to take root. The Sci-fi officers had expected a quick suppression of the city. Instead, they faced chaos, unpredictability, and a force that was always 3 steps ahead. Orders conflicted, and soldiers hesitated, unsure of what to follow. The humans were everywhere and nowhere at once, striking precisely at weak points and vanishing before retaliation could begin. Kale moved through the city with calm efficiency. Each decision was deliberate, each movement calculated. A building's corner became a vantage point. A crumbling wall turned into a trap. A shadowed alley served as a corridor for surprise strikes. They struck without harming civilians, dismantling alien forces methodically. It was a terrifying precision, an execution of strategy that the Sci-fi could not anticipate. In the industrial district, Jalen's team encountered a group of alien soldiers attempting to regroup. Using improvised barricades and controlled explosions, They isolated the soldiers and forced them into surrender without unnecessary conflict. The aliens could not comprehend the humans' tactics. They were trained for brute force, but not for intelligence, adaptability, and patience combined. Kale's communication network buzzed softly as Lyra relayed new intelligence. Additional ships are approaching from the north. They are faster than the first wave, likely attempting to flank us. Lyra and I will coordinate defenses in the south. Remember, the civilians are our shield, not ours. Protect them at all costs, but do not let fear drive our actions. The humans were no longer just fighting. They were shaping the battlefield itself. Jalen's team moved through the north sector with silent determination. Drones floated overhead, projecting holographic images to confuse the aliens about human positions. Explosions rang out, carefully placed to disrupt patrols but not harm the city or its people. Alien forces faltered, miscommunicated, and retreated into traps. Meanwhile, in the south, Kale and Lyra coordinated defenses around key civilian zones. Using hijacked alien devices, they projected interference signals that disrupted enemy targeting systems. Alien patrols stumbled blindly, unsure of where humans were hiding. The executioners struck from shadows, neutralizing threats before they could act. The Sci-fi commander overseeing the operation grew increasingly frustrated. His multiple eyes darted over the tactical displays, trying to predict human movements, but they were unpredictable by design. Every new tactic the humans employed seemed to counter his expectations. He realized too late that he faced a species that combined morality with intelligence, courage with strategy, a species that could not simply be conquered through fear or force. Back on the streets, civilians began participating more actively. Farmers helped guide humans through hidden pathways. Shopkeepers carried supplies. Children, once terrified, now moved quietly to deliver messages or warn of alien movements. Fear was transforming into courage, and courage into action. Humanity was teaching them that resistance was possible. Kale's team engaged the alien reinforcements in controlled skirmishes. Explosions rocked the industrial sector, but the damage was targeted and precise. Energy shields flickered and failed. Alien soldiers were captured or neutralized without unnecessary bloodshed. Every victory, no matter how small, reinforced the idea that humans were not just combatants. They were liberators, and they fought for justice, not domination. As afternoon turned to evening, the Sci-fi forces began to retreat. Their formations were broken, their reinforcements delayed, and their confidence shattered. Kale watched from a rooftop as the last of the alien soldiers fled the industrial district, realizing they could not regain control without unacceptable losses. The civilians, now emboldened, began reclaiming the streets. They cleared rubble, rebuilt barricades, and tended to the wounded. Their eyes, once filled with fear, now shone with determination. Humans had not only protected them, they had inspired them. Kale turned to Lyra, his expression calm but firm. "They will come back," he said. "The Sci-fi are relentless, but today they learned something important. Humans are not weak, humans are not predictable, humans cannot be controlled. That is the most powerful weapon we have." The operation had been a success, but Kale knew it was only the beginning. The Sci-fi would learn from their mistakes and strike again. The humans had to be ready not just to defend, but to lead a movement that could liberate entire star systems. As night fell, Kale stood on a high rooftop overlooking the city. The stars twinkled coldly above, but the light of the city below burned with human resolve. Civilians slept cautiously, protected by the unseen eyes of executioners. Alien ships still lingered in distant orbit, a reminder that the fight was far from over. Kale addressed his team quietly. "Rest if you can. Today we have defended, we have inspired, and we have proven our strength. Tomorrow we strike further, not with vengeance, but with purpose. We are humans. We endure, we adapt, and we do not surrender." Hope had returned, courage had been restored, and the Sci-fi had learned a lesson they would not soon forget. Humans were more than soldiers. They were executioners of tyranny, defenders of life, and the spark of freedom in a galaxy long dominated by fear. And somewhere in the silent reaches of space, Earth watched. It did not send soldiers to fight a conventional war. It sent something far more powerful, humans who embodied courage, intelligence, and the unyielding will to protect what was right. The Sci-fi could not conquer humanity, for humanity had already conquered fear itself. The night was deep and silent, but the city never truly slept. Shadows moved across rooftops and alleyways, silent, deliberate, vigilant. Commander Kale and his team of executioners had secured most of the city, but the Sci-Fi were not done. From orbit, alien warships repositioned, scanning for weaknesses, their weapons systems humming like restless predators. They were angry, frustrated, and desperate. Their pride had been wounded, and they would strike again with all the power they could muster. Kale stood on a high rooftop overlooking the city, his coat flaring in the cold night wind. He watched distant lights of alien ships move into formation, calculating their next assault. "They are learning," he said quietly. "They will try to exploit fear to force us into mistakes, but we do not act out of fear, we act with purpose." Sensors indicate they are preparing a concentrated strike on the northern sectors. They likely want to regain control and intimidate civilians into submission. Civilians had been guided into safe zones, barricades reinforced, and early warning systems prepared. Small squads of humans moved through hidden pathways, checking on vulnerable citizens, repairing minor infrastructure, and coordinating with other teams. Even the children had learned subtle ways to help, carrying messages, watching for alien movement, and signaling humans when they detected danger. From the shadows of the industrial district, Jalen and his team observed the alien forces preparing for their assault. The warships above were vast, casting eerie shadows over the streets, while smaller assault ships moved into position. Alien ground forces gathered, coordinated by commanders who had survived the previous defeats. Confidence in brute force was all they had left, and they relied on it heavily. Kale activated a holographic map, projecting grids of streets, rooftops, and key positions. "We divide their attention," he instructed. "The civilians are our responsibility. Protect them at all costs. But we will channel the Sci-Fi where we want them, into traps we control. Every mistake they make weakens them." Using hacked alien devices and modified drones, they disrupted targeting systems, creating illusions that human forces were everywhere at once. Alien soldiers fired into empty streets, wasted energy on phantom threats, and became disoriented. Jalen's team moved like shadows, striking from rooftops and hidden passageways. Controlled explosions cut off retreat paths and isolated enemy squads. Alien soldiers, trained for dominance, now faced unpredictability and strategy they could not comprehend. Humans were ghosts, moving faster than their calculations, striking harder than their expectations, and vanishing before retaliation could occur. In one narrow alley, a group of civilians trapped by alien patrols froze in fear. Jalen appeared from the shadows, signaling them to follow him. Moving silently and efficiently, he guided them through back alleys, past blocked streets, and into safe zones. The civilians' faces reflected awe, relief, and growing courage. Humans were not only defenders, they were teachers, showing the oppressed that hope was possible. Meanwhile, in the central city, Kale coordinated with Lyra and other executioner teams. Using advanced sensors and alien communication jammers, they created confusion among the enemy ranks. Alien commanders shouted orders that never reached their soldiers. Soldiers hesitated, mistrusted one another, and fell into controlled ambushes. Every move the humans made was deliberate, turning the Sci-Fi's own strength into their weakness. The civilians, inspired by the humans' courage, began taking small risks. Farmers and laborers guided executioners through hidden pathways. Shopkeepers helped transport supplies. Even children helped deliver messages, learning to act quickly and calmly under pressure. Humanity's strength was not only in its weapons or tactics, but in its people's courage and determination to protect life. From orbit, the Sci-Fi commander watched his forces falter. His multiple eyes darted across tactical feeds, frustration boiling. "Humans," he hissed. "They are everywhere. They anticipate every move. How can this be?" He could not understand a species that combined intelligence, courage, and moral resolve in a single, unyielding force. Back on the streets, executioners coordinated counterattacks. Using rooftops, collapsed buildings, and improvised devices, they disrupted alien formations. Controlled explosions and interference signals caused chaos among the enemy ranks, while humans struck isolated groups, neutralizing threats without harming civilians. Each operation was swift, precise, and terrifyingly effective. Kale's voice came over comms, calm and firm. "Remember, we do not fight blindly. We guide the battle. Every step the Sci-Fi take, we anticipate. Every move they make, we use against them. Protect the people first. Use intelligence second. And never forget, we are humans. We endure, we adapt, we prevail." Alien forces were forced to retreat from key areas, losing coordination and morale. Jalen's team intercepted a group attempting to flank the northern sector, turning their own strategy against them. In the confusion, civilians began emerging from hiding, reclaiming streets, helping repair barricades, and signaling humans when danger approached. Kale moved with Lyra through the central district, observing the changing tide. "They are learning," he said. "They believe fear will work, but fear alone cannot defeat humans. We are stronger because we fight with purpose, with courage, and with intelligence. They may strike again, but they will never break us." Reinforcements from orbit were delayed, their ground soldiers scattered, and their morale low. The humans had not only defended the city, they had reshaped it into a living weapon, turning the streets, buildings, and people into allies. Civilians were no longer passive observers, they were participants in their own liberation. Kale convened a brief strategy session with his team. "We cannot let them recover," he said. "We push carefully. We strike at key positions, but we do not provoke unnecessary retaliation. We show them that humanity cannot be controlled, that hope cannot be destroyed, and that courage inspires more than fear ever could. They are taking initiative, helping where they can. This is unprecedented. They are learning from us." Civilians moved freely now, reclaiming their city block by block, tending to wounded comrades and clearing debris. The city was alive with renewed energy. Fear had been replaced by determination. Humans had not only defended them, they had inspired them. Jalen returned to the central command post, reporting on his team's operations. "All key points secured, alien forces retreating. Civilians safe. The Sci-Fi will not rest, and neither will we." Kale and his team stood vigilant, watching over the city as night fell once more. Above, the stars remained indifferent, distant, and cold. Yet the light below, the spark of human courage and ingenuity, burned brightly. The Sci-Fi would return, but they would never find humans unprepared. Every strike would be anticipated, every move countered, and every act of oppression met with precise justice. Lyra placed a hand on Kale's shoulder. "They will not forget this day," she said. "No," Kale replied, his eyes scanning the horizon. "Nor should they. Today they learned the truth. Humanity does not send soldiers. Humanity sends executioners. And the galaxy will know it soon enough." Tomorrow, the battle would continue. But tonight, the humans had proven a simple truth. Courage, intelligence, and morality combined were a force no tyranny could endure. And the people of the city, once cowering in fear, now understood that their fate was no longer in the hands of oppressors. It was in the hands of humanity itself. Dawn broke over the city, casting pale light across streets scarred by battle, but alive with the quiet rhythm of hope. Commander Kale stood on a high rooftop, looking down at the city he had helped protect and inspire. Civilians moved carefully, yet confidently, among the rubble. The Sci-Fi reinforcements had been delayed, scattered, and weakened by the humans' precision strikes and the city's coordinated defense. Today would not be just another defense, it would be liberation. "Reports indicate the remaining alien forces are gathering at the northern fortress," Lyra said, her cybernetic eye scanning tactical feeds. "They have fortified themselves, but morale is low. Their command structure is fragmented. Farmers, workers, and children had learned to act with caution and intelligence, following the subtle guidance of the executioners. Every citizen had become part of the strategy, not as fighters in the conventional sense, but as living instruments of freedom. The executioners moved through the city in synchronized precision. Jalen led a team through the industrial sector, ensuring that key routes to the northern fortress were clear and safe. Drones hovered overhead, projecting illusions to confuse and divide the alien forces. Explosions erupted at calculated intervals, drawing attention to areas where humans had no presence, creating traps for alien soldiers who moved too confidently. Kale led the main team toward the central plaza, where the northern fortress loomed. The alien soldiers stationed there had regrouped, but they were weary, tense, and unsure of themselves. For the first time, many realized that these humans were not mere soldiers. They were a force unlike any they had faced before. Humans thought, adapted, and inspired others to fight alongside them. As the humans advanced, alien commanders attempted to rally their forces. Orders were shouted, weapons powered up, but confusion reigned. The Sci-Fi had underestimated the resilience and intelligence of humans, and their attempts to regain control were failing. Executioners struck with precision from the shadows, disabling key weapons, disrupting communications, and neutralizing the most threatening soldiers without harming civilians. In the alleyways surrounding the fortress, civilians played a vital role. They guided humans through hidden passages, cleared obstacles, and helped evacuate those trapped inside ruined buildings. Each small action contributed to the larger strategy, turning the city into a living battlefield controlled by human ingenuity rather than brute force. Jalen's team reached a choke point near the fortress and set up a controlled disruption. Energy fields were temporarily disabled, creating an opening for the main strike team. As the alien soldiers advanced, they fell into the ambush. Confusion spread quickly through the ranks, morale crumbling with every failed maneuver. Fear had returned, not from human violence, but from human intelligence and unyielding purpose. Kale's voice came over the comms. Move with caution. Every step is calculated. Protect the people first. Strike with precision. This is not a slaughter, it is liberation. Inside the northern fortress, the alien commander struggled to maintain control. His soldiers hesitated, mistrusted each other, and fell into traps. Every failed attack weakened their morale further. The humans had turned their greatest advantage, brute strength, into a liability, using it against them in ways the aliens could never have anticipated. Kale and Lyra led a small strike team through the fortress's side entrance, using hidden tunnels and bypass defenses. They moved silently, disabling traps, neutralizing alien soldiers, and ensuring that no civilians were harmed. The fortress, once a symbol of Sci-fi power, was falling not through sheer force, but through intelligence, precision, and moral purpose. At the same time, Jalen coordinated the northern sector, ensuring that any alien reinforcements attempting to regroup would be delayed or diverted. Civilians, emboldened by the humans' courage, moved freely, reclaiming streets and buildings, tending to the wounded, and sending messages of hope to nearby districts. Kale reached the inner chambers of the fortress. The alien commander, cornered but defiant, prepared for a final stand. "Humans," he hissed, multiple eyes narrowing, "you are clever, but you cannot win. Today that ends." Their voices, once silenced by fear, now spoke of hope, courage, and determination. Lyra scanned the horizon. No more incoming ships. Their forces have been scattered or neutralized. The city is free, for now. And today, these people have earned it. Children played cautiously among the ruins, adults rebuilt homes and shops, and workers cleared debris with renewed determination. The presence of humans, the executioners, had inspired a wave of courage and hope that would not soon fade. As the day turned to evening, Kale gathered his team for a final assessment. "We have liberated the city. Civilians are safe. The Sci-fi have been repelled. But this is only the beginning. The galaxy will see what humanity is capable of, and tyranny will tremble at the name of Earth. That is what makes humans unstoppable." They had underestimated a species that not only fought but inspired, that not only protected but empowered, that combined strategy, courage, and morality in ways the galaxy had never seen. Kale looked to the horizon where distant stars shimmered coldly. "Earth did not send soldiers," he said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. "Earth sent executioners. And the galaxy will remember it." Families reunited, children laughed quietly among the ruins, and workers restored what had been broken. The people had survived. They had reclaimed their freedom. And they had witnessed something extraordinary, humans who fought not only with weapons, but with courage, intelligence, and moral purpose. Kale and his executioners moved through the city silently, ensuring every threat was neutralized, every citizen safe. Their work was not yet done, but for now the city could breathe. The people had hope. Fear had been replaced by determination, and the galaxy had been reminded of a fundamental truth. Humanity was a force unlike any other, unyielding, adaptive, and unbreakable. In the distance, the last of the Sci-fi ships retreated into space, their arrogance shattered and their power diminished. The humans had shown them that strength alone was not enough. Intelligence, courage, and morality were the weapons of a species determined to protect what was right. Kale stood on the highest rooftop, watching the stars twinkle above. The city stretched below him, a testament to resilience, hope, and human ingenuity. The Sci-fi would return, as all tyrants eventually do, but humanity would be ready, not just to fight, but to inspire, protect, and lead. "Rest if you can," Kale said to his team. "Today we have freed a city. Tomorrow we continue the fight. But remember this, humans endure, humans adapt. And humans do not surrender." And somewhere across the stars, Earth watched. It had not sent soldiers to fight a conventional war. It had sent something far more powerful, humans who embodied courage, intelligence, and the unyielding will to protect life and freedom. The Sci-Fi had learned a lesson they would not soon forget. Humanity was unstoppable when it fought for what was right, and tyranny could not endure against it. The city slept, cautiously but confidently, under the watchful eyes of humans. Hope had returned. Courage had been restored. And the galaxy had witnessed, for the first time, the executioners of Earth, humans who did not merely fight but inspired, protected, and liberated. The dawn of a new era was just beginning, and humanity stood ready, unyielding, and undefeated. The Earth did not send soldiers, it sent executioners, and the universe would never forget it.